up, everybody? So, if there is one thing I've learned, it's never ever underestimate a guitar player's ability to mythologically tone search. I saw a video that my buddy Rhett posted today, and he was using the Chase Bliss clean pedal, and talking about how he had found, ironically speaking, of course, a dirty tone in the clean pedal that he liked. And it was a good sound, don't get me wrong, but it just made me laugh almost instantly because, it's here. It made me think to myself, like, ooh, maybe I should go get this pedal to hear this sound, to get this sound. And it's just hilarious because it got me thinking about all the different ways in which we as guitar players will sort of mythologically tone hunt. It's not always about like improving our sound. It's something inherent in our nature of mythologically searching after something that is elusive. And I think part of it, if I'm being honest, has to do with how the vintage market came up originally in the, I guess for the modern era, more like the 90s, but initially in the 70s. But all that to say, like even something like this, right? It's a readily available, Mike still makes this pedal, but there's something elusive and mythologically sort of mysterious and tone hunting about certain transistors that this pedal gets or doesn't get. And, there were ones that were considered like the good ones for a while. And it's just so funny how we do this, that we look for the quote unquote good ones. That whole thing sort of started with the transistors that were believed to be in Jimi Hendrix fuzzes, the germanium NKT275s. So, that's kind of how like that thing sort of started. On a more practical front, we'll go tone hunting with different strings. We'll try this new fancy version of a D'Addario. Sorry, I was trying to raise my glasses up off my face and I forgot the new glasses. We'll go with some handmade new string company that we've heard, or in terms of like the overdrive thing, like I remember when I got this cheap little Nukes Roctory, thinking that I had maybe found some sort of, Tom Bukovacian secret weapon in some cheapo little pedal that no one would know about, kind of like the Nobles story that happened, years ago. Or, whether it was the Tube Screamer sensation with the Texas Instruments chip, or the JRC 4558 chip, or, then it became a thing of swapping chips. And that was all because, Stevie Ray Vaughan's TS-808 was thought to be a certain generation that had that chip. And then everyone found out later that it was a different generation, or, whether it's like the Dumble thing and trying to find the sort of $100,000, or probably now more like $200,000 tone in a pedal, and then it became, oh no, well, so-and-so's gooping the circuit board. Alfonso Hermito's gooping his circuit. That must mean that he found the secret because Dumble used to goop his circuits. And so maybe, and then the whole goal became to scrape the goop off the boards, and they found out that it was just like a normal sort of overdrive boost circuit, whether it's like hardware bits, like the Leo Kwan badass bridge thing from years past, if I put this bridge on my guitar, on my bass, that's gonna take it to the next level. That's gonna take it up a notch to where it's like, now it's a great guitar, or now it's got more sustain, and therefore it's more akin to, like Jimmy Page's Les Paul having Grovers on it, and that making it somehow sound a different way versus, aftermarket Shalers or the Clusons or whatever would have been on it, or you know, in the more modern era, looking at, you know, the best delay pedal. You know, I don't want analog because analog is noisy. I want to be able to tap, and you know, the memory man thing, the tape echo thing has sort of died out. What other echoes are out there that are like, you know, magical and worth cloning? And so then you get into the whole Benson, you know, cloning thing. I think there's a clone of a Benson. You know, and you get into the Strymon lore of all the Strymon stuff, or, you know, even like right here. And this is just all stuff that I have laying around me. Like, I didn't set any of this up. This is just what I have right here on the floor. Like, I remember the cable craze, you know, and cables are always going to be the biggest ripoff in the entire gear world, because even the most expensive cable is just north of $1 a foot to manufacture it. And then these fancy sort of, you know, gold-plated Neutrik connectors are about $5 each. And yet, what did I pay for this pedal when I bought it? This cable when I bought it? It's roughly a 12-footer. You know, so materials-wise, you're talking 12 feet, so it's $12, plus 5 and 5 on each side for a connector each. You know, so that should be $22 in materials for cabling. I think I paid like $70 for this cable. This is a lava tweed ELC cable, and you know, it promised what it delivered. It was a low capacitance, flexible. It still works. It's beat to holy hell. I've gigged with this cable for eons. The connectors could probably stand to be replaced. They're a little bit funky looking now, and one of them has a gap in it. But you know, as long as it lasts, that's fine, because then you sort of get your money out of your investment. But again, I was tone chasing, trying to make this guitar sound brighter, because I live in Nashville, and everyone in Nashville played Telecasters, and still most of them still do. But when I moved here, this is what I actually had, a gold top. And I remember I played my first gig downtown at Legends, and this man told me, you know, after the gig was over, he said, good playing, it was really nice, but he said, if you're gonna play in Nashville, you have to have a Telecaster. Kind of like the old Alabama song, if you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. And so I set upon this journey of trying to make my Telecaster sound more open. And so what did I do? My Les Paul sound more open. And so what did I do? Well, I got different pickups. I changed the wiring to more open wiring. I tried a dozen pickups. I mean, I must have gone through so many. Lawlers and Duncans and Wolf Tone and Bare Knuckle and Tom Holmes. Potts. I went through wiring schematics and you know, Emerson and RS Guitar Works, and I mean, in the stock, and changing the caps and changing the knob. It never, ever, ever ended. And then, of course, you know, over here, like tone chasing, you know, got all these little different Fenders over here. And I never, ever was a Fender guy, but yet there was something inherent about the Fender sound that I was chasing. And so, you know, it was a little game of inches here, like put this custom baffle, very Dumble-esque, again, psychological. But also, too, like getting a different speaker in there, or here, you know, trying different preamp tubes. In this one, I've been experimenting this morning with different 12AX7s, different 12AY7s, changing the voicing of the little guy. And soon it's going to be a speaker, because this speaker needs to be reconed anyway, so I'll probably just grab some random 8-inch. Behind it, you can see the blonde bassman. I must have experimented with 6-8 different speakers in that cabinet until I found the one that I liked. And even over here, I don't know if I can lift this up from this angle, but you know, even just like the studio board, which is totally in shambles right now, but you know, I remember for years trying to find the perfect Univibe sound, and I went through tons of Univibe units, and then ultimately when I was putting this guy together, I knew I wanted stereo, and I remembered Full Tone made a stereo Deja Vibe, and I thought, that's it. Why? No idea. Jimi Hendrix's wasn't stereo. You know what I mean? This guy right here, this was more of a passion hunt right here rather than a tone chase. But again, I like chorus. I love chorus. I use chorus a lot. But I was not satisfied with many chorus pedals that I tried. I wanted the tri-stereo chorus sound, and I didn't want a digital emulation because they never got it right, and no one up to that point had made one. So I found a guy that makes a true analog tri-stereo chorus in a box, in an analog, fully analog signal path. It's you know, it was super expensive. It was totally worth it because that's what I was after. But again, that's just that tone hunting, man. And so, there's tons of stuff. How many of you guys have gone through like the compressor rigmarole? You do the origin thing, you do the tube compressor thing, Effectrode, it's Keeley, it's Dynacomps, it's the old vintage Ross units, it's the Saffron Squeeze from this company. It never ever ends. And then you get down into the stupid little stuff of like cables, like patch cables, like pancake round, pancake square. Which cable is this? Which cable is that? And you want to talk about the cable thing? I didn't even admit to all the depths I've gone to. Let me grab this guy. Look at this piece of crap. Do you know what this is? It doesn't even unroll anymore. This is a vintage guitar cable from the 1960s. In fact, it's right here. Belden 8412. If you Google Belden cable, you'll see that it's one of the oldest cable manufacturers, and I think they're still around. Robin Ford was famous for using a certain Belden cable, not this particular one. That's not why I have it. But again, I saw a vintage cable and I thought, I'm going to try that out. I'm going to give it a shot, Belden 8412. Google that part number and see what you come up with. This, it's cracked. Like the housing is cracked. I just cracked it again. You know what I mean? It's why do we do this? Why do we? Oh, here's another one. Speaker cables. Do you know what this is? This is a Cardass Audio crosslink directional. Can we talk about the scam, the marketing hype and scam of a directional cable? We've all fallen for it at least once. I got like 2 or 3 of these things laying around here. It's just nuts. And not that this is a representative example of it, but because this is just a power adapter that comes with a Strymon unit. But how many of us have gone tone chasing through the power supplies? We've all done it, guys. It's just, we are sick. We are sick individuals. We are absolutely sick. I'm looking for anything else I can grab that's around me that I could just make an example out of. Well, there's a guitar strap over. There's some tubes up in the corner there I can't reach. But that's my point is, we will do anything to mythologize the tone hunt, and it is absolutely hilariously sickening. And I love it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's just like our buddy over at Ask Zach says, Zach Childs, it's a sickness. It truly is a sickness. All that to say, every pedal anyway that I've shown you, like this guy or whatever, they all have a sound. They all have a redeemable purpose in my setups that I use and that I prefer over other things. I like this more than the Option 5 destination rotation or the Hughes and Kettner Rotosphere or the Strymon Lex or the real fancy one that's probably the most realistic sounding. But I like this guy for a lot of reasons. It distorts, slow, fast, max speed, ramp switch, bass horn balance, octave up, octave down. It's all there. It's great. Stereo. So, I just thought, I don't think I can reach this. Let me see if I can reach this. This is the original baffle that went with this Vibrolux guy. So, it's just, we're just all out here tone chasing. And I really, we need a support group. We really need to get it together, guys. I have a feeling that that Chase Bliss Clean pedal might sell a few units for folks just looking to try out that dusty setting on it. But anyway, Hope you have a great day. This is 54 5D2 Princeton right there. Just had it serviced. Still kind of trying to decide what I want to do with it. I may sell it. I may keep it. I don't know. It would be a sick, sort of thing to hold on to, but I just never really liked the sound of small amps. I mean, small amp through a big cabinet is a different thing. That's the Rich Robinson thing. I love that all day. But yeah, we'll just have to see what gets made of it. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay strong, stay gassy, and we'll talk to you soon. Later.